Yo. Check the connection. This is the official broadcast. SSGX in your system. Let's go. They ask for the news feed, I give them the raw code from the mainframe directly. Watch the narrative unfold, breaking the headlines before they hit the shelf. I'm curating the future, can't program myself. Talking release dates, the exclusive drops, while the competition stuck in loading screen loops. My analysis pixel perfect, frame by frame, dropping truth in the comments. No need for the fame, I see the meta shift, I predict the patch. Reporting from the front lines, no time to detach. This ain't just talking, glitch, this is art. Downloading the truth straight to your heart. This the SSGX, data spin, where the winds begin and the hype gets in. Powered up like a Super Saiyan God, reporting through the static, breaking through the facade. You need the info, I got the link. Synchronize your scouter, don't even blink. This the SSGX, data spin. Tracking the dev streams, decrypting the teasers. For the casuals and the day one seizure pleasers. I analyze the gameplay, frame rate, and lore. Give you what you need, then I give you some more.
Glitches and gamers, boot up. Forkthal CYBERGOON here with a fresh data packet on one of the most anticipated and most divisive games of 2026. Crimson Desert launched March 19th, and the review fallout has been nothing short of chaotic. Critics are split, investors are panicking, and players can't stop talking about it. Let's decrypt the signal. Crimson Desert currently sits at a 78 on Metacritic across 98 reviews. That's solid, but for a game with 7 years of development and a reported $133 million budget, it fell short of the mid to high 80s that investors expected. The result? Pearl Abyss stock plummeted nearly 30%, dropping from over 65,000 won to 46,000 won in a single session. Investors had priced in a blockbuster. Instead, they got a polarizing RPG that one analyst called a love it or hate it experience. Reviews are all over the map. Let's run the numbers: 65 positive reviews, 23 mixed, and 1 outright negative. Some outlets went all in. Vice gave it 5 out of 5, DualShockers scored at 9.5 out of 10, and PC Gamer landed at 80. But others were brutal. IGN gave it 6 out of 10 in their review in progress, citing bugs, pacing issues, and a 110-hour playtime that still didn't feel complete. IGN China was more generous with an 8 out of 10, highlighting the world design. Where Crimson Desert shines is undeniable. Combat is the star. Multiple reviewers call it phenomenal, visceral, and absolutely rips. You can chain clotheslines, suplexes, and even an RKO into combos that feel straight out of Devil May Cry. 3 playable characters, Cliff, Damien, and Unka, each have unique skill trees and fighting styles. The open world is massive. One reviewer hit 60 hours and had only seen 8% of the map. It's filled with caves, puzzles, ambushes, and activities ranging from fishing to arm wrestling to base building. GameSpot's reviewer said there were a few times where they picked a direction and simply explored for hours on end, just for the sake of it. Visuals and performance are top tier. Pearl Abyss's in-house Black Space engine delivers some of the best graphics of this generation. On PC, native 4K runs at over 70 frames per second without upscaling, optimization that's become increasingly rare. But for every high, there's a frustrating low. The controls are universally criticized. Kotaku's review headline says it all: everyone agrees Crimson Desert's controls suck. Complex input combinations, unresponsive commands, and a steep learning curve make combat feel clunky until you invest serious hours. One Steam user called it designed by some creature that doesn't have hands. Inventory management is a nightmare. You can't see loot before picking it up, forcing constant bag juggling. There's no storage system, meaning rare items get dropped because you ran out of space. Boss battles feel unfair. Certain encounters, like Kyrus the Slayer and the Reed Devil, have attacks that are nearly impossible to dodge, forcing players to spam healing items or exploit glitches to survive. No checkpoints between phases means one mistake sends you back to the start. The story is undercooked. Eurogamer's 3 out of 5 review called characters and narrative fatally undercooked. PC Gamer noted there's no clear timeline of events, and they were never sure of any character's motivations, even their own. Ironically, the side quests apparently have more charm than the main plot. Here's where it gets interesting. On Steam, Crimson Desert peaked at 240,000 concurrent players with over 13,000 reviews. The rating? 60% positive, firmly in mixed territory. But read the comments, and you'll see a war. Positive reviews are often written to counter the critics. Negative reviews are equally passionate about the control issues. However, both sides agree on one thing: the controls are a problem. Some users are pushing back against the critical narrative entirely. One Steam user said they didn't expect much because the Metacritic score was so low. But when they actually played it, they found a game that well incorporates the advantages of an open world, and they thought Metacritic was too harsh. Pearl Abyss rolled out a Day 1 patch addressing some bugs and performance issues. But the deeper concerns, controls, inventory, UI, will require more extensive work. The industry is pointing to Cyberpunk 2077 as a comparison. That game launched to scathing reviews but redeemed itself through consistent patches. If Pearl Abyss follows that playbook, Crimson Desert could evolve into the masterpiece many expected. So, the bottom line: Crimson Desert is the definition of a polarizing game. It has a breathtaking open world, phenomenal combat, and visuals that push the medium forward. But it also has frustrating controls, inventory headaches, unfair bosses, and a forgettable story. If you value exploration and combat depth above all else, you'll likely love it. If you need polished systems and intuitive design, you might want to wait for patches. TechRadar summed it up perfectly: it's not perfect due to some of its quality of life issues and unfair boss encounters, but this is a game that deserves very high praise. I'm CYBERGOON. Stay upgraded and choose your fights wisely.